You are tuning in to A&N In Depth. Last week, we talked to Costa Jr., the communication director of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church. Every question I asked him, he gave me an example of his family to explain how he understands the World Church communication. And we started the conversation about A&N International. In this episode, we would like you to understand more about A&N International. This is a 30-minute weekly video news show that showcases stories from around the world on how Seventh-day Adventists are impacting and changing the lives and transforming lives of many different people. Again, over 200 countries the church operates in, many people are transformed. And A&N International is the video show that demonstrates how this is happening and where this is happening. Williams, welcome again to A&N In Depth.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Last week, you talked about a family needing to connect, and when a father and when a mom, dad, children, when they don't know stories from each other, they cannot sustain their family structure. So unity demands that you know what's going on in different parts of the world.
Absolutely.
Especially in an inspiring way. Why did you start A&N in video? How long ago was this? And how has it developed since?
Let's go back to the idea of the family too.
Okay.
The pathway for divorce is when one of the spouses come to the other and say, I don't speak anything with you anymore. It's over. I don't communicate with you anymore. So please don't talk to me. I don't want to hear you. Many times in the church, we don't care to hear about the others. We are not interested to know what is happening here and there. We are focused in our world, in our church, in our community, and we think that this is sufficient. It is not. As a world church, we need to be committed hearing, seeing what is happening in other parts. And then in our hearts, the compassion, the missionary spirit needs to be...
It needs to grow. It needs to be blessed. It needs to develop.
Yeah. Need to flourish.
That's the word.
Yeah. So if we don't have this desire to flourish serving, supporting, caring for people, we are doing something wrong with our religion. Religion is not a club that religious people come to celebrate and to eat together and to hear beautiful presentations. No! We have commitment in serving. And in my understanding, it is indispensable that people can read stories, can see stories, can enjoy, can cry, can laugh. So we need to get into the family. If you are not having this desire to be into the family has no meaning. We don't care for the family. So based on this concept, I believe 2012, we started this crazy initiative to have a weekly program or weekly portion of A&N on video. But we are having difficulty to have stories. We didn't have reporters. We didn't have camera people. There's just a few studios and conditions. So all kinds of challenges that you can imagine. And we said, well, let us read the story and have some photographies to illustrate. And that was the beginning of A&N video. But the Lord has blessed. That blessed mightily. And it has been developed through the years. And I remember that this week I recorded program 630. And I couldn't believe, boy, more than 600 programs have been recorded. So to me, it's a miracle.
So it's not enough for people to know what is happening. The goal of A&N, because you could do that on Twitter for that matter, you could do that on text only. But it's very important for you that people understand and know and see and hear what it's like in other parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps when they see that their priorities in their local community are the same as in a Maasai tribe,
Mm-hmm.
are the same as in New Zealand and South Korea and Zambia, they will feel connected to this world church. Because the world is very large. How important do you think ANN is in keeping the Adventist Church united?
The best way to communicate is through the body. Body language is 85% of what we say. Many times we think, well, I'm saying this, I'm saying that. But people are reading our eyes, our lips, our hands, our movements, and they are getting conclusion. And many times mentally we say, well, he's saying that, but he's lying. Why? Because of the body. Oh, but yeah, what he's saying is true. Why is true? Because the body is saying that it's true. So body language is very important. So for this reason, we thought that having a program that people can see faces, children, families, actions, evangelism worldwide, it is meaningful. And I'm delighted to see some results. There are some people that watched certain stories about refugees and about needs worldwide, and they said, well, I need to connect. And they connected with these people and gave donation, gave offerings. Many times they decided to go to places to serve there for as 1 year in mission. So the inspiration came watching some stories that motivated them to do service, to support, and to help.
Okay, what languages is ANN International in at the moment, and what's the vision for expanding it in more languages?
The criteria for choosing languages for ANN is based on regions of the world that speak those languages. For example, English is a common language for almost all the world. Okay, so English is a language for ANN to be worldwide. Then we have Spanish. Spanish is a language present in 85 countries worldwide. So it's beyond divisions, beyond unions, conferences. There are people in Europe, in Latin America, in North America, in South America, in Africa that speak Spanish. And we need to reach these people. If one division decides to do a program in Spanish, it will be to reach the people on that region. But Spanish is a worldwide language that needs to be, accessible to people. You have Portuguese. There are Angola, Mozambique, Portugal, São Tomé and Prince, Brazil. Many people live in the United States, in Goa, in India, in many places.
Cape Verde,
a number of places. So for this reason, Portuguese is also a language that we need to pursue having ANN. The other one is French. 7 regions of the church worldwide speak French. And I saw in the past the struggle. If some region produces and have the expenses and the investment, the others say, okay, so give me your copy. And say, but it's not fair. Because I'm paying for this and you're not supporting. Oh, no, yeah, but it's ready. So why don't you share with me? It's confusing. Having ANN in French, it's available for people in Canada, in Martinique, in Guadeloupe, Quebec. It's a number of places. France,
France. Yes, France.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's necessary on those languages. So English, Portuguese, Spanish, French. Those were where we started. Mm-hmm. But now we are getting Swahili. That is getting in the east of Africa, many countries. We get in German. We're going to get German because it gets Germany, Austria, and a part of Switzerland. It's international language. Then we have Swahili, German, And now we are pursuing Hindi. It's a language that has a different alphabet. But billions of people worldwide speak Hindi. We need to share our stories in Hindi. And in the future, we imagine to be in other languages and to reach other groups of people, to bring inspiration, and people can understand and observe and say, hey, man, I'm delighted to be in this family. I need to be involved in the mission of the church.
That's a beautiful vision. How many languages do you think we'll be able to reach by GC session in 2025?
We hope at 2025 at least 10. But we are going step by step, slowly looking if we can afford. Because every time that we add one language, there is expenses. And we have not only, just for you to understand, we have the taping of the host, but each story needs to be translated, subtitled, or have over voice. So there's lots of work behind the scenes to put a program together. It's not just something that comes automatically. Then comes revision and people involved on translation, etc. So as many as we can, but our goal is at least 10 languages.
That's an incredible task. Now, you have gone from one language to 4 or 5 without any increase in the budget, pretty much. How is it possible to optimize your team to achieve that kind of result? Because it is very complex. It does involve a lot more people. How have you been able to optimize the resources to continue producing even without an increase in budget?
First, God's blessing. I believe that the Lord is leading all the process, opening doors, and giving us the conditions to move ahead with this plan. Second, we are trying to make the max use of new technologies. There are a number of things in artificial intelligence, in 11 labs, in a number of ways that is facilitating writing, revising, organizing, and having over voice. And we are using all possible tools available to put together information, expanding A&N. So normally when you have a new technology, we fire people, we displace this and that. But what we are constantly doing is training people for new demands. Say, hey, you have been for years working and doing this and this for A&N, but with this technology, you can use this tool and we would like for you to do more on this area. And we will try to maximize people using technology and the talents and experience. So it's a beautiful combination of human resources and technology. And I am sure that by the end of time, the Lord will open and will create technologies and possibilities that will amaze us, not just because of the technology itself, but because it will give us the opportunity to more quickly share this beautiful message of salvation to the world.
I have worked with you now for 7 years, and I've observed during that time that you like high performance and adaptations, and you don't have any resistance to what is new. This is very rare. I remember when I traveled with you and you said, look, instead of taking the train to the other terminal, we're going to walk because we need to get our steps in. We need to walk. And if we go faster, we'll just sit for longer. So instead of just sitting,
let's walk.
We're going to walk. But while we're walking, we're going to discuss an agenda. And you had our items that, okay, we're going to talk about this. So you're getting your steps. You save on a meeting. Another thing that you do is, I noticed even yesterday, we were walking to the car and you have your bag with you and you're doing weights as you are walking. You're doing your exercises through it. So you are committed to high performance and you have encouraged all of our team. Williams, you lead about 140 people globally that work on all of the projects that you are part of. And you are constantly pushing them to get better and better themselves, to use new tools, to go forward, and to try new things. Why do you think that is important for other communication leaders, other journalists, other department directors that are also responsible for news productions, and they don't have a team? They don't have many resources. They only have a little bit of resources and a little bit of a team. But you are asking them to send news reports, to send more video, to send more things. What would you say to them about optimizing those resources?
One of the secrets in life is to develop collaboration and partnerships. If you don't have support from people and institutions, you will be alone. Many times we dream about a fantastic result if we have such and such conditions, if we have budget, if we have sufficient people. But, administrators, they appreciate when they see sacrifice, when they see commitment. So before asking, do your part. Try to push. And if you are bleeding without strength to move on, then you cry for some support, and gladly people are going to say, oh, okay, so I will be with you. And so this thing of involving and supporting, remember, when Christianity started, it was a bunch of incompetent people that didn't know how to collaborate. And during the ministry of Jesus, he explained to them how to distribute food, how to open the door for people to come and reach Jesus personally, not to block children to come. So I can give a number of examples that Jesus, in connection with them through body language, examples, miracles, he was kind of teaching to them. When he left, they felt alone, they felt lost, but after claiming for the Holy Spirit, there was something amazing that happened, and then they went to all parts of the world with, power, preaching and doing miracles and doing everything. I believe that by the end of the world, we will be empowered by the Holy Spirit. And having the Holy Spirit in our life, we will do things that we cannot imagine. So every day, we need to be open. We need to be available to say, Lord, give me wisdom to understand how to use this tool to do this. How can creatively we can engage here and collaborate and support each other? So our church do not exist to eliminate people, but to include. And that inclusions include people, resources, and technology.
Yes, it does. Okay. We have a television network called Hope Channel with 80 affiliates that run hundreds of channels around the world. And the largest one is in Brazil. It's called Novo Tempo. And it also broadcasts in Spanish to all of the Spanish-speaking countries, almost all the Spanish-speaking countries in South America. And it's called Nuevo Tiempo. You have a partnership with them for them to publish ANN International. Now, their audience are non-Adventists and non-Christians. And the role of Hope Channel is to bring people a positive association with the Adventist Church. So to bring people an awareness of the Adventist Church. ANN In Depth stands at the very top of that because, or ANN International rather, because it shows how the church is working in third person. So ANN International says it doesn't talk in first person. We helped people on an earthquake in Chile. No, it says the Adventist Church helped to alleviate the suffering of 2,000 people following the earthquake in Chile. So it's third person, which gives that journalistic feel. And this means that ANN International has a potential audience of 180 to 200 million people every single week, just in South America.
Yes.
What would you say to encourage other Hope channels around the world to take that show? And how much do they need to pay to get access to this high-quality weekly news show?
If you pay $1 million per show, it will help us a lot. Because, but I'm just kidding. The show is completely free, and I saw some kind of uses of this program that I never expected when it was created. For example, another day I went to Montemorelos University,
Mexico.
In Mexico, and when I enter into the church, many people say, "Oh, Pastor, how nice to see you here." They were greeting me. Well, but when I was not understanding anything.
Because you're not known in Mexico.
Yeah. And I live here in Washington. I said, what is happening? And finally, when I sit on Friday night at the church, before the program starts, the live program started, they put it on the screen, ANN video in Spanish.
I see.
And there I was, hablando en español para los hermanos en todas las partes. And then I understood and said, boy, they are using this in the church. It's not in television or YouTube, but inside the church. And then I understood that was the way that university and that church decided to share to everybody on that community about the world family. Very inspiring.
Right.
And then I go to other places, and there is institutions that take the program and projects on the worship on conferences and unions. That's another use. And there are people that get the link from YouTube and share on WhatsApp. And others put it on Facebook and have it on Twitter. So the use is free. The intent is to maximize the information to bring inspiration, motivation, and determination to fulfill the mission of the church.
Williams Costa Jr., thank you very much for joining us in ANN In Depth. And thank you for tuning in. We're going to leave you now with a few clips from ANN International to give you a taste of it. We'll leave the first parts in English, a couple of stories, and then we'll place a series of clips from other languages so you can see the same story or the same text in other languages. Again, thank you for watching ANN In Depth. This is a podcast that helps you understand the Adventist Church, its structures and the processes and how it works. Please go ahead and write in the comments. We read the comments, and if you have any questions, you can ask it there as well. Next week, we come back with Williams again to talk about GAIN. GAIN is a technology event. How does the Adventist Church deal with innovation? New technologies that are emerging. How are we hoping to study and use AI? How have we hoped to study and use new video game technology that is coming out? And all of this. GAIN is the event where all the tech people come together, all the communication people come together, administrators, and we struggle to see what's ahead. So let's talk to Williams next week about this. But for now, click the subscribe button if you're on YouTube or any other platform like Spotify or iTunes. And we'll see you next week.
In northern Peru, more than 11,000 young Adventists are part of the Caleb mission.
No norte do Peru, mais de 11.000 jovens adventistas fazem parte da missão Caleb.
Dans le nord du Pérou, plus de 11 000 jeunes adventistes font partie de la mission Caleb.
En el norte de Perú, más de 11.000 jóvenes adventistas son parte de la misión Caleb.